Yeah, Shloma. Mashlomenu.
Would you ask that?
I think that's what that would be, Mashlomenu. No one ever says that because no one ever asks themselves as a group. Yeah. No one ever asks that. I don't know.
Multiple personalities, you might ask that.
It's like, yeah. So let's say, Mashlomchem. Mashlomchem would be where you ask a group of people, how are you guys doing? Mashlomchem. So perfect. So we get how that works. Now let's take a general rule. All right, here we're going to go into general rule right now. So here's a word. Right, buy it. Okay, is a house. Now I want to say. I want to start adding endings to it because I want to practice my Hebrew endings. So I can add all of the endings we just went through to this word, and in fact I can add it to any word. So I can say beiti, my house, right? I can say beitcha, your house, beitech, your house, talking to a female. For a guy, you say that's his house, beito. Or if it's her house, that would be beita, and so forth. Beiteinu. Beiteinu. Okay? Like the political party in Israel, Israel Beiteinu. Israel is our home. That's what that means. So when you add these endings to any noun, you basically, that shows possession. That's showing possession. Okay. Now the way to do that is very formal in modern Hebrew. It's done all the time in the Bible. It's done all the time in very technical Hebrew literature. This is very formal. This is as formal as it gets. But it exists also for certain informal words. It's used from time to time and in certain expressions. It's more common than you would think in modern Hebrew, but it's not used in your everyday to-day speech like when you're going to the supermarket or whatever. So exactly. So that's exactly what that is. So the casual version, the informal version of expressing possession. So if we're going to jump into that right now, because I feel like we're on the topic. Is that how you spell it? Possession. You take the word shell, and then you add the endings. Okay, and the endings are going to be exactly the same ones that we just went through, right? So, okay, so sheli, mine. Shelcha, yours. Shelach, yours. Shelo. Whoops, I just spelled that wrong. Okay, Shelah. Shelanu.
With the example like dates, shali.
Yeah, a bait shali. You can say beiti, or habayit shali. Those are two options. So those are equivalent. So now let's see. You have two options, okay? So you got option one, formal. You say beiti, my house. Or option two is informal. Yeah, you do. You need it because it's a specific house, right? It's always, if you're talking about your house, it's always going to be a specific house, right? It's like the fact that it's mine is what makes it specific. So you need the habayit shali or beiti. Now notice something. You don't do habeiti. You don't do that.
The my house.
Yeah, you don't do that. When you add the endings, you don't put ha, right? It doesn't work together because This is its one system. Think of it as two different systems. It's like two options, like I said. So this is one option where you have just the noun. It's a specific one, and then you add this after it, saying shali. Now, what is shali? What does it mean? Let's break it down. Well, let's break it down. This is 3 words. Shali looks like one word. It's 3 words, okay? Here, you've got she, which was the first one. It means that. Le, which means to or of. It means the way to express possession in Hebrew is to say to. Something is to me, that means it's mine. Think of it that way. If it's to me, it's mine. If it's to you, it's yours. And then E is me, right? That's how that breaks down, right? So it means the house that to me. The house that is to me, my house. That's what that means. So it was the same she that we saw in the very beginning. I had it up on the board, and I said it means that, but not like this and that. It means that in terms of like connecting the sentence together. And here's an example. The house that is to me, right? So that goes through that. I feel like we went to Habayit Shalanu. Yeah. So at the kind of the vowels can shift a little bit between like enu, anu. These things are a little bit. There's a little, we get deeper into it because there's another set of endings. We're not going to do it this lesson. We'll do it a different lesson when we go deeper into it. But this is just the first example of that. So these are pronoun endings. I don't know what to call them. I don't know if they're pronoun endings or what. They stand for pronouns. That's what they do. What do you mean? Yes, there are 2 sets of endings. The differentiation is like this. Now that you asked the question, so I'm going to go into it.
Sorry.
What happened? We didn't get to it. We simply didn't get to it because we have to go into singular and plural. That's a whole other topic. But
Don't do it now then.
I'm not going to do that because it's going to take another hour. So let's see. So the other thing I want to touch on this time, 2 more topics here. I want to touch on the verb to be, okay? To be, okay? The verb is haya. That means to be. But haya means he was. But you don't use it in the present tense. There is a way to say being. It's if you need to express it specifically.
Is that like existence? Same thing?
Yeah, but you don't use it in speech. You don't say anything. You simply leave a blank. You simply say, let's try a bunch of words that have, let's say, he is a child. I'm just going to go through some sentences here. He is a child. Okay? In Hebrew, you say, hu yeled. Okay? Now, my Dalet looks a lot like the Chaf Sofit when I write, so I'm going to do a very proper one. Okay? Hu yeled. That's it. This whole section right here, this is what I want to say in the simple sentence in English, which has, he is a child. Here, yeah, period. Here, period.
You have periods?
Yeah, you have period. You have the normal punctuation at the end. This section right here, these words don't exist in Hebrew, as you can see. It's simply he, child. That's how you say he is a child. Now, if you want to say, I don't know, I'm not good at coming up with sentences like this. Random sentences.
I am something.
Yeah. I am a student, okay? I am a student.
Well, the
Ani student. Ani student. Okay? I am a student. You want to say I am the student? I am the student. It's kind of a weird sentence because it feels like it should say I am the student that did something.
You are the teacher.
But yeah, if you want to say I am the student, ani ha-student. Now, but it feels like there should be more to it, like you need to explain something like, so then you would say ani ha-student she, I am the student that, raised my hand in class. You come up to the professor after class, say, I am the student that raised my hand. Say, ani ha-student she raised my hand in class. That's the example of she. Now this she, because she is one letter, only one letter word, it would be added on to the next word, whatever that word may be. And that word may be a verb, or it can be anything, right?
But why do we know what EA is if we don't use the verb?
What's the question?
Why are we telling what to be is if we never use that?
Because you don't write it. You just don't write it. You don't say it. You don't say in the present tense, it's a blank space. It's just pronoun. It exists, but it doesn't. It's not said. Yeah, it's like it doesn't exist. It's like there is no present tense. It's like there is no present tense. It's like the present tense is just a fleeting moment that you can't quite put your finger on, and there's only a past and a future. It's kind of like that. So that was important for me to point out. That's something I wanted to point out. And the other thing I wanted to go through is to have and not have. How do we express possession? Again, going back to what we had before. That's if you want to denote a specific object as yours, right? But how do you say the words I have or you have? It's like this. It's a different phrase than what we use in English. There's not a verb. There may be verbs in Hebrew to possess something, to hold something, there may be other ways of describing this, but the basic way, like our basic way of saying I have, you have, etc., is like this. You have two words. You have yesh, and you have ein. Whoops. How do I do that? Ein. Yeah, this is a yud. And that's a yud. Right there. Yesh and ein. Okay, yesh, ein. Yesh means there is. There is. And ein means there ain't. Okay? You can remember it that way. There ain't. Even though ain't, I don't know if that might be grammatically correct these days. There is and there isn't. Okay? So, the basic use of this is, so I want to say there's a house. There is a house. How do I say that in Hebrew? We know the words. Yesh, bayit. Very simple, two words. Yesh, bayit. Yesh, yesh. Yesh, okay, let's say there is no house. There is no house. You say ein bayit. Ein bayit. There is no house. Okay. Let's say there is no car. Somebody says to you, hey, why don't we take the car? There is no car. Ein rechev. Okay? There is no car. Ein rechev. What are we going to do? Ein rechev. There's no car. Okay. How do we say?
Actually,
Yeah, go ahead. What's the question?
There's a grill called Yesh Hummus and Grill in Pikesville. Does that have anything to do with anything?
Yesh, probably. If it's Hebrew, yeah. If it's Hebrew, that's what it means. It means there is.
There is.
Yesh.
So does that make sense as a speaker? Because when I'm thinking there is
Yeah.
Hummus and Grill.
Yeah, yesh. Here's the thing about the word yesh. In English, when you win, when you get something you want, you say yes. And in Hebrew, you say yesh. But you say yesh, not because it sounds like yes. You say yesh because you're saying it is. It is.
Oh, okay. That makes
Okay.
more sense. Okay.
So yesh can be used as an exclamation to say, and there's a supermarket in Israel called Yesh. I guess to let people know that they have stuff. So now we use these words together with the preposition we saw previously, le, which we know le meaning to also means of, shows possession. So we use them together. We say I have is expressed like there is to me blank. So for example, I have a car. Okay? Would be yesh li rechev. Okay? There is to me a car. Now I want to say,
That's 3 words.
yeah, there is to me a car. I have a car. There is to me a car. What did I say?
Yesh li rechev.
Yeah, yesh li rechev. Right. Now say you want to say he has a house. You would say again, yesh to him. How do you say to him?
Shall.
Not shall, but to him. Lo. Lo. basically.
Lo.
Lo. So lo, yesh lo, bayit. Yeah. Let's say you want to say she does not have food. And food is ochel. How do you say that? You say ein la ochel. Okay? There isn't to her food. She has no food. That's how you express that. Okay? And now we'll end the lesson with a fun phrase. Yeah, you're gonna write it.
La.
Yeah, la, because if you're talking about a female, her,
La.
she has no food. Ein la ochel. She has no food. Now we're gonna end with a fun one. This is a fun one. So you say to someone, "What do you have?" You would say, "Ma yesh lecha." What do you have? Now, this phrase can be used either literally to mean what do you have, like what someone's trying to sell you something, you say, okay, ma yesh lecha, like show me what you got. Or it's used many times in a metaphorical way, meaning what kind of like mental condition do you have? Like, or what kind of not mental condition, but like what's bothering you, like what's wrong with you. Ma yesh lecha, like someone went off the rails, started yelling. You're like, ma yesh lecha, what's going on? What's wrong? What's bothering you? What's stuck in your head? What do you have? What do you have in your brain, on your brain right now that you're freaking out? That's what that means, ma yesh lecha. So, yeah. Okay, we're gonna practice more sentences next time. For the homework, I want you guys to come up with sentences based on these words from the list. Come up with like 20 sentences.
Are we using these same words next week, or are we getting new words?
I might give you new words. No. This is for you to use for the homework. But I can send them out ahead of time if you want. I can send them out ahead of time. So the reason for the homework is because then we can take your sentences and immediately go over them. So then he'll learn your sentences, you'll learn his sentences, and you can practice and take it from there. Now, a couple things I wanted to point out here. So in Hebrew, you have words that sometimes you'll have words that are spelled like you'll see here. You've got a word girlfriend and you got word company, right?
So there's nouns in here? Or those
Yeah. No, these are nouns. This list is only nouns. This list.
got it.
So for example, you've got this word, right? So the word chaver, is that masculine? Chaver means male friend. If you're talking about a romantic relationship, that would be a boyfriend. You add the hey because that's a female version.
Chavra.
Chavera.
Chavera.
Because chavera is a girlfriend. It can be also a friend who's a girl. It can be a girl who talks about her girlfriends, right? Same thing. But another word is chevra. Chevra means company. So it's like, well, how do you know
Like company is
how to read it?
where you work? Or
Yeah, a company where I work. I work in a company, chevra, right? I work in a company. So chevra. So how do you know how to read it, how to pronounce it? You read it in the context. When you're reading it and you're like, you don't know what it is until you read the whole sentence. When you read the whole sentence, you're like, oh, okay, that means, but in the context, it also makes sense.
They're pronounced the same.
No, they're pronounced differently. Chavera and chevra. Yeah, like read and read. You don't know if it's present tense, past tense until you read the whole sentence, or until you've read the whole sentence.
Like this?
So, what? No, it's like this.
Well, we're just doing
Chave-
this. Probably different.
It's probably like this, chavera. I don't really know how to the nekudot.
Chavera. Chavra.
And this one is chevra. Like that, probably. Something like that. Chavera and chevra. Right? So that's just something I wanted to point out. That you'll encounter that. Okay, I want to end it now, I think, because it's going to get overtime. Yeah. We're at 1 hour now. So 1 hour since Ross came. Which is when we actually started. So we didn't get to the question words. That was not for this lesson. That might be for a different lesson.
We got ma.
Yeah. We got through everything that was on that first lesson. So the next time we want to go into verbs. We're going to go into the gender and the number. So that's when it's going to get more complicated, more interesting.
This was good.
Yeah. This is yeah, thank you.